I wasn't the type to believe in curses. Ghost stories, fun around a campfire, haunted objects, clickbait for YouTube. But that was before I inherited my grandmother's house in Vermont and found the mirror in the attic. She passed away in late autumn. I hadn't seen her in years. We weren't close. She was the quiet, distant kind. Always seemed like she was carrying some secret, something too heavy to share. When the lawyer called to tell me she left me her house, I was surprised more than anything. I had no idea what to do with a creaky, two-story colonial in the middle of nowhere. But curiosity got the better of me. I took a week off work, packed a bag, and drove north. The house was old, but well kept. Cold, though. The kind of cold that clings to your skin even after the heater's been on for hours. It creaked constantly, as if it were alive and breathing. But it had charm. A fireplace, worn oak floors, built-in bookshelves. It smelled like dust and dried lavender. I spent the first 2 days cleaning, airing things out. It wasn't until the third day that I decided to check the attic. The pull-down ladder was stiff. The wood groaned as I climbed up. The attic was cluttered. Boxes of photographs, old linens, rusted tools, and in the far corner, draped in a moth-eaten sheet, was a tall, antique mirror. I don't know why it drew me in the way it did. Maybe it was the ornate frame, carved with twisted vines and strange little faces angels. Maybe demons? It was hard to tell. The glass was surprisingly clean beneath the sheet, as if it hadn't aged like the rest of the attic. When I looked into it, something felt off. The reflection was normal, but delayed by just a fraction of a second. Barely noticeable. But I saw it, and I felt it. Like something watching me from the other side. I should have left it there, but I didn't. I carried the mirror downstairs and set it up in the guest room, telling myself it was just a beautiful antique, that's all. I even Googled the design on the frame. Victorian, 19th century, common in Europe, nothing particularly rare, nothing cursed. But that night, I had the first dream. I was standing in front of the mirror. Same room, same lighting, except my reflection was wrong. It wasn't mimicking me. It just stood there, smiling. I don't mean a normal smile. It was this crooked, unnatural grin, like it didn't belong on my face. And the eyes, they weren't mine. They were darker, deeper, empty. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon. The house was dead silent. The mirror stood in the guest room, perfectly still. The dreams got worse. Every night, more vivid. In one, the mirror cracked, and something crawled out, long fingers, stretched too far, pulling at the frame like it was a doorway. In another, I saw my grandmother standing behind me in the reflection. When I turned around, no one was there. I started avoiding the guest room. I'd keep the door shut, even during the day, but every morning, without fail, it would be open, wide open. And the mirror would be facing the hallway, even though I never moved it. One morning, I found something else. Scratches. Thin, deliberate marks on the wooden floor in front of the mirror, like fingernails had scraped across it. At first, I thought maybe mice, but they were too precise. 5 lines, human-sized, dragged across the floorboards in a perfect arc. That's when I started recording. I set up an old phone on a tripod in the hallway, aimed directly at the guest room. I hit record and left it overnight. The next morning, I checked the footage. Nothing happened for hours, just static, the occasional creak of the house settling. Then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., the door slowly creaked open. The mirror shifted. Not fell, not slid. Shifted like someone turned it by hand to face the hallway. And for just one frame, barely a fraction of a second, I swear to you, I saw a face in the glass. Not mine. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I kept replaying that one frame over and over, freezing it, enhancing it, zooming in. The image was grainy, of course, but it was there. A pale face, hollow eyes, a mouth open just enough to suggest a scream or a laugh. I showed it to my friend Marcus the next day. He's the kind of guy who loves horror movies, skeptical about everything. But even he went quiet when he saw it. "Man, that's messed up," he finally said. "You sure this isn't some reflection trick? Maybe someone messed with the footage?" "I was alone, Marcus," I said, and the door opened by itself. That night, it got worse. At exactly 3:17 a.m., the same time as before, I woke to a sound. A soft tapping, repetitive, measured. It was coming from the guest room. I grabbed a flashlight and my phone. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped them. The hallway was pitch black. The door, of course, was open again. I stepped inside. The tapping stopped. The mirror stood there, facing me now. I hadn't moved it. But in the reflection, something was different. My reflection wasn't following me. I lifted the flashlight. The reflection didn't move. I took a step forward. My reflection stayed frozen. And then slowly it tilted its head. That same crooked smile, that same dead stare. I backed out of the room and slammed the door shut. I slept with the lights on, praying for the first time in years. I wasn't even sure what I was saying. Just, "God, if you're real, help me, please." The next morning, I went back into the attic. Something told me there had to be more. Some explanation. A clue. And that's when I found it. Behind a stack of boxes, tucked in the corner beneath a loose floorboard, was a bundle of old papers. Yellowed, brittle, wrapped in cloth. Inside were photographs. Black and white. Faded. Each one was of someone standing in front of the mirror. Different people, different decades. Same mirror. The last photo was of my grandmother. Her face was pale, her smile strained, and behind her, in the mirror, a figure. Tall, dark, watching. There was also a letter. Shaky handwriting, ink smudged, but I could read most of it. "This mirror is a gate. I've seen it, heard it. It feeds on the ones who look too long. I tried to destroy it, but it comes back. Always. I begged the priest to bless it. He refused. Said it wasn't of God, or the devil. Something else, older. I should have never brought it into the house. Please, if you find this, don't let it stay." It was signed with just a name, Margaret. My grandmother. I didn't waste any time. I grabbed the mirror that afternoon and dragged it out to the backyard. It was heavier than I remembered, like it was resisting me. Every step felt like I was dragging something alive. I propped it up against a tree and went back inside to find a hammer. I didn't care how old it was. I didn't care what it was worth. I just wanted it gone. When I came back outside, the mirror was gone. Not broken, not tipped over. Gone. I ran back in. There it was. The mirror. Back where it had always been, like it never left. I screamed. I called the local Catholic church. An older man answered. Father Avery? He believed me. He came that evening. No small talk, no hesitation. He walked straight to the guest room and stopped. "I need holy water," he said, "and a crucifix. Do you have one?" I shook my head. He handed me one from his bag. "Keep this on you," he said. "Do not, under any circumstances, look directly into the mirror." He began the rite of blessing. Latin words echoed through the room. Then the lights flickered. The temperature dropped so fast I could see my breath. Then came the whispering. Dozens of voices, layered, overlapping, some pleading, some mocking. The mirror began to hum, a low, vibrating tone. The priest didn't stop. He raised the crucifix and shouted in Latin. The glass rippled like water, and then it cracked. Not shattered, just one deep, jagged crack from top to bottom. Silence. "It's not destroyed," he said, "but it's been weakened. Whatever was inside, it's bound again, for now." I moved out the next day, left everything behind. The house went up for sale. I didn't tell the realtor about the mirror. I should have. But I told myself maybe it wouldn't wake up again. Maybe it had fed enough. But sometimes late at night, I still see that crack in my dreams, still feel the mirror calling. And deep down, I know it's not over. Not really. Because mirrors, they remember every soul that's ever looked into them. And some never leave.